Well, welcome back, YouTube, to another exciting episode of Boost, Composites, and Time Attack Cars. Today we have a very exclusive guest with us, Mark Blackburn. Hello, Mark.
All right.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Get along things.
That's great. That's great. So Mark has done as last season of Time Attack in his wonderful near stock Renault 197 in Club. Is it Club or Club Plus? Clubman Plus. For those of you who don't know, Clubman Plus is basically any car can actually enter any stock car, providing you have seat belts, stock interior, everything stock. You don't need to change anything. Jumping way ahead, that's basically for you, all of you people who think that, oh, Time Attack, I need a super fast car like the Spicy Micra or the Rusky Well-Fab building the fastest thingy bob. No, any car you can enter and enjoy your season of racing. How did you do, Mark? How was your season?
Yeah, it was interesting. Finished third overall, so yeah, it wasn't a bad season. Only had one breakdown, so yeah, it went well. Doing it on a budget, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So why Time Attack? What made you sort of decide to do it?
I've done quarter mile racing years ago, and that gets to a point where to get that extra 0.1 of a second, you're doubling your money every 1 of a second to get there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's fun until it gets expensive. So I stopped doing that, started doing track days. Then had kids, stopped everything, as you do. And then the Clio came along for next to nothing. Thought, right, let's go and have some fun again. The kids have grown up a little bit. Just kept it cheap. Just Time Attack was the cheapest way of getting back into motorsport, really.
It is, isn't it? I've looked before even considering Time Attack myself, and everything else is just major money, isn't it? For some reason, I mean, of course. I'm the one to talk.
Other series, you've got to build that car to a spec.
Yeah.
Depending on the series, they force you to buy said spec parts from said supplier.
Yeah.
And that just makes things really expensive. Whereas, with Time Attack, we do have freedom to purchase what we want. We don't have to purchase a certain set of coilovers. You've got your pick at that. From a budget perspective, I think you're one of the only few drivers on the planet that actually drives the car to and from the event, which I find pretty scary because if you did have an issue, how'd you get it back home?
You don't worry about that things at the time.
Well, I was always, because I've done track days before where you obviously, the majority of people obviously do it like that. You drive a car to a track day and then you drive it back. I've always found that you can never drive your car 100%. I've done so many track days in our sport, and it was
that's actually
up to 90%. And then you push it, you think you push it, but you're never on the back of your mind, and you're always like, right, I need to drive home. I don't want to, be stuck. I mean, how did you find it? Did you actually push it 100% at Time Attack? Because obviously it's competitive.
A few of the rounds I did trailer it there, just in case.
Was it Brands Hatch? Because it's 8-hour drive for you.
I trailered it to Cadwell, and I was pushing at Cadwell because I did have a few offs and a few sketchy moments. But I didn't have a cage in the car either, so I wasn't pushing that much because I knew it could go very wrong very quick.
Yeah. Especially at Cadwell.
Yeah. Well, all the circuits this year, it's been 90% push. There's been sketchy moments at most of the tracks, just back end stepping around and thinking, well, I haven't hit anything, so I've done all right.
I mean, I've hit things. It's not nice.
Twice last year.
Well, no, last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cadwell,
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Don't you're the side.
I'm not. I don't have the cleanest of record, do I? Yeah, well, accidents do happen.
Yeah,
that's why for us specifically, safety is paramount. You know, like the plumbed-in extinguisher, and obviously all the gear and the HANS device, and the full everything has to be in date and checked and double checked, and that's why the cage is all reinforced. It's safety, in my opinion, is the first thing. You do safety first, and then everything else on top.
Yeah, definitely.
You can.
I mean, it's probably probably the only series in the UK where you can complete. I know you've got like the likes of like Javelin Sprint where they don't require you to have a cage, but you're only doing A to B on 3/4 of a circuit. Whereas in time attack, you are doing that after that push after push.
Also, in time attack on the sprint, you're by yourself on a circuit. You go
Javelin
out.
Sprint, yeah. So it's quite
in time attack. It's almost like it's a hybrid because you are with other cars.
Yeah.
And especially
there's a lot of difference in time.
Exactly, and because you go out with with higher class. Because we have 3 sessions in time attack. We have the first session where Club Retro and you are together with
Pocket Rocket.
So who is what's the fastest class in your session? It's Pocket Rocket, isn't it?
Pocket Rocket now.
It's Pocket Rocket Turbo forced induction, is it? Together with so they're probably the fastest.
Yeah.
And the time difference. I mean, we know, for example, what Michael Hume. I mean, he was setting so it's quite a difference. So that's why it's because you're doing so many laps. I mean, as we found out,
it's just a unique sort of motorsport where you are having cars on the circuit doing such speed without the requirement of a roll cage. So that does keep costs down. But is it this year or next year changing that rule?
It's next year.
Next year when
so 2024, this year, they allow us to basically run under old rules, and they've revised a few sort of regulations.
But I think even then, Clubman won't fall in the roll cage.
Probably not. Well, Clubman is Clubman, isn't it? Clubman is just your road car.
You're still out with
all,
and it's a business session.
Yeah.
So it's. I mean, I put a roll cage in the Clio now. Not for this year.
I've seen pictures. It's not sort of a generic eBay cage.
No, it's a proper Clio Cup X85 cage, converted from left-hand drive to right-hand drive. Still a couple of little bits to do to it to finish it off, but it's in the car, which was interesting.
Do you do all the work yourself?
Yeah.
As the question we ask everyone: build or bought? Build.
Definitely build.
Yeah.
Budget build.
Well, budget, not budget. I mean, even my car, my build is a budget build within whatever. We all have different budgets, but okay, good. So you're from the build camp,
Between me and my mate Hutchie, we do all our work ourselves.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
So, what is your history with cars? Tell us. Where did it all start?
First car, Series 1 RS Turbo.
I thought you were going to say micro. No. We'll get to that.
So I had that as a first car. Obviously, it was expensive, but it was a fun little car. Got sick of it breaking down, so bought a micro. Yeah. So I bought a micro.
So the micro was the second one.
Micro was the second car. Touched a bit of black ice, wrote it off. Really killed myself. Spent 2 months in hospital. Not really a fan of micros.
Well, that sounds like. We'll put a picture up of if we get permission.
Yep.
Okay, sweet. Picture on the screen now of said accident.
I've seen the pictures of it before, and only yesterday when I was talking to Eden, he pointed out that it's a micro. I mean, you can't even tell what car it is.
Well, I had second guess because
you know micros. You have 20 of them in here. That's why you probably like. And you even told me, like, was it like a 1.3? I'm like, I don't know.
It was 1.3, maybe a 1.3S, I don't know.
Yeah. It was a horrendous crash.
You can see on the picture where the lamppost hit.
Oh, you can definitely see the picture where the lamppost hit.
And the passenger front headrest sticking out the back of the back quarter window, where my girlfriend at the time, now wife, was sat.
Oh, right. Okay.
So she was with you in the car?
Fuck.
Wow. How did it impact your life afterwards? The injuries and stuff. How?
In the crash, I fractured my skull, lost my left ear, so obviously balance, eyesight a little bit, which wasn't as bad then, but obviously it's as I'm getting older, it's a little bit on my eyesight on my left eye. But nothing I can't deal with. It's kind of a shock as an experience. It's no good saying, right, I'm not doing that now. If you listen to the doctors, you sit in your chair all day and do nothing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When I had my accident, when the car ran over me, 5 years. After 5 years, we went for the first checkup, and I just sort of walked in, and they were like, "Where is this person?" Because they said with those injuries, you're not supposed to be walking after 5 years, and it's been almost 30 years now, and knock on wood, still fine. I mean, it hurts a little bit, but I know how those sort of early injuries, even though when you're young, you tend to heal like a dog. They say you heal, but then the older you get, because you're a little bit older than me, mature, more wiser. Let's not use this word older. Yeah, wiser. And yeah, I'm sure it kind of will start catching up. But yeah, so it wasn't like you were speeding, because I want to use this opportunity to give this kind of like a warning to young bloods who drive irresponsibly. Was it just pure accident, as in, like you say, black eyes, or were you a little bit excited?
I was going too fast for the conditions.
Okay.
I'll say that. But on the same thing, the junction where I crashed, it's on the border of two counties. So the grit is coming down off the slip road across and back, and the same on the other side. And even today, that section doesn't get gritted. And there's crashes there every time the weather's bad.
Okay.
So it's one of them things.
So blame the council.
Blame the council.
But you can't blame the council because they're classed as act of God.
Yeah.
So yeah. Funniest thing was, well, there was a couple of funny stories in hospital. Obviously, the first time I got out of bed, if you've ever had an ear infection,
Oh yes.
how do you walk?
Yes. I suffer really bad from ear infections of my ear.
So got up out of bed the first time they let me out of bed to go to the toilet. Basically pinballed down the thing, wall to wall. I used to always use that ear for the phone. First time I made a phone call, shouting down the phone, I can't hear you. Just some daft little things that you don't realise.
No.
And obviously you get used to it eventually, but so if you ever see me walking with a little bit, that's why.
Ah, so it's not a little tickle with lunch.
I actually walk straight when I'm drunk.
Oh yeah,
daft as it sounds. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you kind of you came out unscathed and you're with us. So after the micro, I assume you didn't buy another micro.
No, I didn't buy another micro. I bought a Peugeot 306.
Well, wise choice, French.
XSI, it's 5-door. Obviously, thinking of family commitments, getting a bit bigger car and a bit more sensible, and ripped all the interior out of it, so there was no back seat anywhere. Fitted an MI16 Peugeot motor in it, up with 405 on bike throttle bodies, turned it into a track car. It was an interesting car as well. Spent way too much money on it.
As you do.
Yeah. And then rust got the better of that one. Well, to say rust, there was a couple of spots of rust on the sunroof. I don't like doing body work, so it's like, right, that's
In scrap.
gone now.
Well, actually, you keep talking about this sort of work you do on the cars. What do you do actually for a job? What's
Served my time as a heavy goods fitter way back when, and then after the accident, I used to work on car transporters and trucks and walking around up in the air. Not really ideal when your balance is broken.
No.
So dropped down to cars and vans and spent 13 years in the motor trade on cars and vans. Then I had a total career change, went and worked in steelworks for 4 years. that shut down, so I had to think of what else I was going to do. Didn't want to go back to on the tools because it's hard work for no money.
I heard that before.
So got my SUV, now I'm a truck driver.
Fantastic.
Spend my days on the road.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah. Kind of your own boss.
So I guess, yeah, for you to drive to sort of circuits like Brands Hatch, which is 7 hours, it's not really big deal.
Yeah, there's no closed circuits.
Yeah.
Not on the time attack calendar anyway.
Do you walk Croftway?
We're half an hour from Croft.
Up north?
Up north.
Up north.
By the wall or beyond the wall?
No, not quite at the
Not
wall.
quite.
Not quite at the wall.
Not quite at the wall.
Not quite at the
About
wall.
an hour away from the wall.
Yeah. Have you done any competitive motor racing before Time Attack? So
Just track days. Track days and quarter mile things.
Yeah.
That was done a few like go-kart races and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which isn't really competitive, but it's a start.
Oh, go-kart. I mean, it can be competitive.
Yeah.
It's...
More for fun.
Yeah.
Just do things for fun, just enjoy it. And that's the way I came into Time Attack. The 2 single round Grand Prix, the end of 22. Donington and Snetterton, enjoyed it. And then thought, right, let's go.
Yeah. That's the thing about Time Attack. A lot of people who ask me about it, I always just say it's just fun to do. It's such a relaxed atmosphere because not only everyone enjoys helping each other and everyone is friendly. I can't really comment on other paddock, on other championship. Maybe they're the same, but in Time Attack in particular, I find it's really easy going because you're not against each other per se. Yes, you are sort of, but you're not. You're against your own time, and that's why it's so relaxed. It's almost like a glorified track day. Really, all we're doing with qualifying. So. That's why it's so uniquely interesting. I mean, especially for me, because there's no real pressure for some reason, as I would imagine something else would be. So that's why. So, what is your plan for this season, 2024?
So I put the
No plan is a plan.
Yeah, I've put the roll cage in over Christmas, which was interesting. The things you don't think you're going to need to take off the car to put a roll cage in, that you end up having to take off. We got the back half of the cage, like 95% of the cage way into the car, and then found out we had to take the dashboard out. So, without taking the cage back out, fought on to get the dashboard out, got the back of the cage in, and then got that in and boxed back together just because I only have like 3 or 4 hours a week in my mate's garage where I can do things. And then a couple of weeks later, thought, right, I'm going to go down and do the front of the cage. So the dashboard out again. But to get the original cross brace out, you've got to take the doors off. Because the bolts go that way. So that quick little job turned
Pain in the arse, basically.
8 hours. At the front of the cage, yeah. So that was done. It's still not quite finished. So that'll be to do after the next rally, which is the end of this month. When we get time to get on my car again. Then it's probably looking at the suspension or engine this year.
But the engine's still pretty standard, though.
The engine's completely standard. I'll put a Scorpion exhaust on it all the winter. But with the 197s, basically maxed out to what you can do within the regs. I can't do anything to it apart from exhaust and air filler. And a map gets it nothing, so...
I mean, it's a pretty good engine, what they managed to achieve. I mean, it's a 2-liter naturally aspirated, running 200 horsepower. It's a fairly heavy car.
Yeah.
That's why the Mark II Clio, the one I have, usually with a few tweaks, it seems to be faster on track days. That's why it's a bit more preferable. But I mean, I've driven the 197 with the truck. It's just wonderful. It's just so
I weighed
easy to
it
drive.
at Snetterton, and I think it was 1,400 kilograms.
Yeah, that's not really
Quite happy for a small car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all crash protection.
Yeah,
with it being 5-star.
I suppose now you can take all the crash protection out.
Now put the cage in.
The cage.
So.
I mean, all that's going to do is balance the weight you put in by the cage.
The cage was 50 kilograms for the full cage.
That's a fairly light cage. Well, of course, I mean, it's homologated, isn't it? It takes 85, so. Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. And then I'm not sure whether to engine swap it or just change the car. That's why it's.
I guess it depends how attached you are to the current car. If it has some kind of sentimental value, if you want to continue with the chassis, then engine swap. If you're not attached in any way, then they just get something different. It's one of those. It's like, how much time do you have to dedicate to a swap? Because it's not a 5-minute job.
No.
So it's one of those, like, how much of a hobby
if you
want to
so hypothetically, if you were to replace it with another car, what would that be?
Possibly something in VW Audi group.
Okay.
Yeah. Safe choice.
Because
there's some fast cars.
Good choice of engines. Some little sporty cars. So yeah, the out of the box. Be an easier way of doing it rather than putting that money and more into the Clio.
Yeah.
But it's. I'm kind of using this year to look at how the classes run in Time Attack to see which way to go. Because last year, as much as it was a fun year, the classes were a bit mixed up.
Yeah, the class structure is a bit weird. I mean, we seem to have this discussion in the WhatsApp group, seemingly everyone wants to know about the classes, and without going to. I mean, I think the best way to do Time Attack classes would be to base all cars off power to weight and stick them in the same.
That's a difficult one.
It's a difficult one
because not only weight can change on a fly, you have to weigh the cars. It takes time, but also power. Now, what did you say? It's one of those. It opens up a book for cheating and stuff.
And especially for aftermarket ECUs and stuff these days, you can stick it on a dyno with X amount, and then. I mean, it's dead simple to switch between maps just on a can button. So
yeah.
So again, that would be the ideal way to make the crash structure.
Or even like, for example, the new R5 from Haltech, by the way. The R5, it's fully wireless. So, for example, you can have somebody in the pits on the laptop. Giving you a little bit more juice while you're passing them by, whatever, if you have Wi-Fi dongle in the car, which is not allowed, by the way.
They don't enforce. I mean, what's the time difference between you second and third? Got a couple of seconds or 5 seconds?
There was 5 or 6 seconds between me and second, and then another 5 seconds to first.
Yeah, see, that's
spread out.
Yeah, but it's also that the championship organisers not enforcing their own 5% rule.
On my memory, I think they're the only person, and I'm not sure whether he did it voluntary. Rob Boston, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think Rob Boston was asked to move. From what I've heard,
I think he's the only one who sort of did it.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I think Jack Malpass. They will talk about him going because of GTR, but never happened. So
I can kind of see why, because it was a small group. There was 4 cars in Clubman. If they moved them out, 2 cars in Clubman, it's kind of it is difficult.
But also, where'd you move them? Because all the classes beyond yours, they all require either a cage or other sort of modification. So you're either out because you're fast, so it doesn't really make.
I'm not sure about the Scirocco, but the Subaru definitely had a full cage and other things. So that could have changed classes, but it's.
Again, it's all. I mean, we talk about this sort of reinforcing, not reinforcing your own rules and stuff. But maybe that's what makes Time Attack so fun and inviting at the same time, because it's so relaxed, because you're not worried about all of this, like all the, oh, it has to be like this and that. Maybe, you know, that's the essence, where it's like, yeah, whatever, you know, a lot of things can slide as long as the basics are kind of followed.
They did say to me on scrutiny that I took too much interior out because I didn't have a cage. But I was building up to fit in the cage, so I was.
I mean, but I've seen your interior. It's like everything in the rear. I don't. How is it supposed to help? It's not even that extra amount of weight that you're removing. So it's like it's irrelevant. I understand sort of the door cards, the front, the dashboard, all that is there, but
the door cards are still in with the cage.
Yeah.
Everyone said you couldn't keep the door cards in the cage, but they're in there. We kept them in. The dashboard's nearly back in. I need to try and get it back out to make it fit better, but it's not as easy as just taking the dashboard out.
Yeah.
Now that there's a cage in. But yeah, it's just little bits, but.
I remember you told me a funny story about the catalytic converter.
Yeah. That was at Alton Park.
What before? Is it 1998?
It's 2001.
2001. So if the car is pre 2001,
so it's around there anyway. But
you don't need to run a catalytic converter. Anything newer than 2001 or 2099, like anywhere, something like that, it has to have a catalytic converter, even if it's a dedicated sports race car that is only being trailed, not roaded. It's still, that's a Motorsport UK rule to have a catalytic converter. It can be the smallest one, which is a 50 cell or 100 cell. It can be anywhere, but it still has to be within your system, and that's the rule that we all follow, because it's one of those, you know, you don't want to be kicked out and accused of being cheap because of not having a catalytic converter.
So yeah, we're all pulled in at the end of the session. Car's put on the ramp, and the marshal gets his little heat gun, shines it at the manifold, then goes after the cat. Back to the manifold, back to the cat. He went, I don't think you've got a cat in this exhaust. I was like, well, why would that be? The exhaust is hotter after the cat than the manifold. I'm like, well, that's because the cat's working. No, the manifold should be the hottest part of the exhaust. No, obviously with many years in the motor trade, I looked at it and went, you're wrong, and I've had the gearbox out and I've looked in there in the last month. It's definitely got a cat. But I don't think you've got a cat. Right, we'll agree to disagree. I'm not going to argue with you. He said he would have a look at another event. He wanted to have a look in the exhaust. I was like, fair enough. You can look in the exhaust. I'd just bewildered by it. People trying to enforce the rules that don't know how things work.
And I mean, I know that your car is, well, it's totally standard system, and well, you know, so we know that it's, but yeah, the way the guy was sort of trying to enforce
the other marshal who was kind of stood back, he was like, you can see it hasn't been touched.
Yeah.
The original lambda sensors are still in it. It's still
all the bolts are probably even like all so rusted anyways that it looks like it hasn't been taken off.
But that's probably the people would probably try to be clever, gut the cat, and then trying to deceive them. So I suppose you've got to see both sides of the story on that.
Yeah, but if you're going to test it, you kind of have to know how they work.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's the funny part. You know, clearly it would be caught behind it because it heats up. That's how the catalytic converter works.
The catalytic converter,
especially you've been at idle, sat for a few minutes, the temperature will come down.
Yeah. So
they don't rush around doing these checks.
No. Well, I had a similar thing. You remember they made me ask. The car was actually broken down. I think I was stuck in gear, and literally I had to hold this clutch, and 5 people just pushed me into the thing. Only so they can look into my exhaust pipe to see if I have a cat. I was like, well, you could have just done it there. Like it's right in there.
They made Michael wait in the queue to last. His cat's at the back bumper.
Well, when you had the argument with clerk of course Alex, at Alton, and we were just sort of patiently, awfully waiting behind. And was it Mike, the main scrutineer?
So.
And obviously, you looked at your car thinking that's never going to get on the lift. And it says, so you need to take your splitter off to get it on the lift to do a cat check. I said, well, I went, if you just, what do you need? A visual reference? Yeah, we just need to see the honeycombs. I said, well, do you want to get your knees and just look through your side pipe? Well, not really. I said, well, I don't know what you can do. I was like,
it's right there. You can see it.
You can literally see the honeycomb through.
It's like right at the end. That's another thing. We tend to put people in the know. If you put your catalytic converter right on the tip, which is allowed, it creates the least amount of resistance, gives you the most amount of power. So it's almost like, because obviously the back pressure and all that, right on the tip, it's the least.
Because the catalytic converter only needs to get hot to function for emissions purposes.
Yeah, we are not even using it for emissions.
Yeah, it's just one of the things to satisfy the green beat. I imagine that.
Yeah, we have a cat. Whether it works, it's another matter. So, yeah. And for that reason, obviously, it's right there. It's a few inches away from the tip, so you can actually see the cat in there. And actually, when it's hot, it glows red, so it's actually pretty cool. But I find it as a silly rule. It's competition car. Yes, for example, if the car is road legal and you drive it onto the track like you did, have a cat, reinforce it. If it's competition only on a track, no MOT, no insurance, none of that nonsense. Let us sort of. Well, I mean, what kind of rule is this? Cars before 2020, 2001 or whatever don't need a cat. Aren't they the more polluting cars than the new modern engines?
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't What do you mean it doesn't need a cat? I mean, only because it didn't come with a cat before, but it doesn't make it cleaner for the environment. So it's like. Just a lot of it doesn't really make sense. I mean, we're not having a go at years of time attack or whatever. It's more of a MS.
With a race car as well, the fueling is more checked than a road car.
Yeah.
So the stuff coming out even without a cat, there's going to be less unburnt fuel in there because it's all mapped to be right.
You briefly said something about rally.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you actually co-pilot for a friend.
I've done one co-drive. I'm mainly spanner.
Okay.
Because trying to hear me talk in a rally car isn't easy, as Hutchie will say, because we did the rally and he didn't need me for the first 3 stages. We just went winning it. He kind of knew the rally. So yeah, it's
he actually asked me to do this, and I said make sure the microphone is on the right hand side.
No, we still need to update the setup of things. These are not booms.
Well, no, it's...
Well, by the way, this is a new sort of kind of another temporary, but more permanent than the previous one, because this is basically the corner that it was always intended to be. It already has a few features that we intended to have. We obviously need new chairs. And for you guys, if you are a manufacturer of seats, or you are whoever has 3-4 seats that you don't need anything, we would like to hear from you, because we would like to sort of make them into proper chairs, because obviously this one is some kind of whatever. You're the only one in a proper race chair.
Well, this is what goes on.
Yeah, fasten your seatbelts. Actually, I forgot to do my thing.
Good.
We'll do it on the next one. Yeah, not gonna spoil it. So yeah, if you have seats, sponsor this lovely podcast with your seats. We'll have your logo. By the way, this is the advertising space for your company. Anywhere you want, or we can put it on our foreheads or whatever. But yeah, jokes aside. So how does it work in rally with regards to the catalytic converters? Because I assume in the UK they would still be running under MSA rules. So is it the same rules apply?
Yeah, they still have to have, over a certain age, you have to have a catalytic converter.
And obviously it's in rally. I think it came from rally where they put it right on the tip, isn't it?
Yeah, put it right at the end if they need it.
But also, obviously, rally cars historically they are driven on the road, so they all get MOT and
all got the MOT,
that makes sense.
Insured.
Yeah.
They are not road cars, but they're road legal.
Yeah.
It's drive between states.
Yeah.
It's kind of an unwritten rule that they know they're not going to be meeting all the regulations to be on the road, but they're allowed. They're not used every day, so
Yes. There's certain exemptions on there.
But yeah, they have to be MOT, taxed, insured to be used. Inside, there's not much difference to a race car, really, technology-wise. Some of them are way above what we see on a track day. Some of them are nearly a road car. There is classes that's nearly a road car with a roll cage.
Is it true that in rally you can actually have fun in a normal front-wheel drive, nearly stock car? Or because I know that you can, but some people maybe they're thinking, well, no, clearly because we all grew up with the WRC, 300 horsepower four-wheel drive. Subarus and Toyotas and Audis, Quattros and all that stuff. So you kind of, in your mind, is like, right, this is the rally car, the pinnacle of sort of off-road, sort of going sideways.
Well, usually on a rally that we go to, we do the closed road and we do forests. There's everything from Rally 2 cars, which are like the step below WRC, all the way down to 1 litre Yaris's.
Really?
Yeah.
And all you need is a handbrake.
Yeah, they still have to have a cage, but you have the handbrake and everything and all the bits and pieces, and there's people going out and having fun. That's what.
Do you know what? One thing I really want to do is proper rally.
Oh, well, yeah. That's one thing I want to have a go.
Yeah, I mean, I've done sort of rally before. I've done it in my.
I mean, one of my favourite games to play when I have the sim wheel out is Dirt Rally 2.
Yeah. But you do have to have someone willing to sit beside you.
Yeah, there's always a mate like that.
Can you imagine the commentary of us two doing a rally with each other?
That would be fun. Because I've done a rally. It was like a road sort of stage. It was one of those time rallies where you are driving on the road.
12 cars.
Yeah, 12 cars, yeah.
Oh,
whatever,
I don't know, whatever it was in Russia. I was in my first ladder. This is not the first ladder, this is the future ladder. We actually got lost because we had no equipment, we had nothing, and you obviously need a trip computer because the legend they give you, because back in the day, I think it was 25 years ago, something like, a very long time ago, 2000s. Obviously, there was no iPhones, no maps, nothing like that. They give you sort of this list, turn left to this, whatever, and then we were going off the tackle on the speedometer thing, and obviously it's to a nearest 200 meters or something. So we missed a couple of turns, and then we got completely lost. And then the last stage is actually the dirt sort of gravel, but I never got to it. I've done a few experience days, but experience days are nothing like a real deal. It's they never let you drive as fast, but it's I mean, I've done quite a bit of snow drifting, and it's nice to be able to control the car and sort of drift, whatever. Just
what you control other than you sent me.
What? I was talking about definitely controlling stuff. So how would one go about getting into rally?
It's not much different than getting into time attack. You need to be a member of a local club.
Easy.
And meet the regulations.
What about license?
You need, I think it's the same one as you need for pro.
RS or something.
Yeah.
Because obviously my license requires you to pass a test on a race circuit.
No, it's not that high then. It is, I think it's, you have to be signed off sort of thing, but
okay.
It's a...
Okay, that license...
You do have to do a course
to
get your license signed off. And then the co-driver needs the same as what I need for Clubman, the RS.
Yeah. And I assume there are a lot of different championships, like we have in sort of circuit racing.
Yeah, there's rallies all over the place all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just decided.
And where are they all usually happening? Is there anything sort of territorially?
Well, they do like the north of England, but then that can go from anywhere from Scotland down to the Midlands. On a thing that they do the closed circuit stages, circuit ones, closed road, forests. There's all sorts of things.
So basically, you're saying that if you're Southern Ferry, you're out of luck. There's nothing. So
No, there was one at Brands Hatch.
oh really?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they do have a break.
Cadwell as well. Well, I think every circuit has their own rally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I retract that.
Yeah.
So,
Alistair went to
Brands Hatch, they actually send you through the paddock
oh, really?
and the pit lane. That's part of the stage.
Well, that's
And
interesting.
you basically do like 3 laps of Brands Hatch, and you take a different.
I think we need to do that. That sounds like.
I would love to have a go at rally. Really would have. Love to have a go at rally.
Starlet. Let's build that into a rally car.
What's that?
Starlet.
Yeah, good do.
Well, it's a Gymkhana car now.
The one thing I will say, when you sat next to someone, you've got to trust them. And when you see the in-car GoPro, it's way smoother on the in-car GoPro.
Well, that way we have the same discussion with GoPros now, is that the stabilisation camera takes out a lot of the danger.
Yeah.
So
that's what happened with the footage of me at Cadwell. I was completely sideways, and you looked at the GoPro, and it's like,
What was he listening to you when you were telling him what to do, or was he driving like a Samir? So he was Samir.
Yeah, he couldn't hear me. He just couldn't hear me because the microphone was on this side,
right,
and this side of my mouth doesn't work. All the noise goes that way. So didn't down. We had to extend the microphone as far out as it could go, and then he could only just to say hear me.
Okay. So he's basically just driving from memory.
Round and round base, yeah.
What's the name for it? What's the term when you drive like what you see, or drive the road? What's the term?
Yeah, drive it as you see.
Drive it as you see when you can't hear it.
And then the one bit he quickly did hear me, I got the notes wrong.
How does it work? I mean, I assume you need to have a really strong stomach for it, or is it just because to me, if I'm in the passenger seat and I spend more than 30 seconds on the phone checking anything, that's it. All I want to do is just throw up.
You're very rarely looking out the window. You're looking at the notes.
I would not be able to do that.
And then if there's a straight where it could be like a 200 metre long straight, you might get a chance to look up in time to read it again so he knows what's coming up.
Oh wow. So you read the notes from your feel. So if you're telling him 200 left, then you feel the left, and then you
kind of a corner ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So you've already told him what you're coming up to. You're telling him what's after that.
Does it really make him drive faster knowing what's ahead?
Yeah.
So there's no way driving the road you can be as
fast.
as...
I know it's a computer game rather than real life, but when I got really into Dirt Rally 2, drive as you see, I found out I was making more mistakes. Whereas if you just sort of like try to zone out and listen to the pace notes, you can actually sort of...
Yeah. You know what, because the only time you've drove down that stage before, unless you've done the rally for years and years and years, you get to go around it. Sometimes you get to go to a rookie stage the day before, slow in the car, where you've got to meet all the road regulations and speed limits. So you're just basically going around it slow, checking your notes to see if you agree with what the notes are. And you can't remember 70 miles of road.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I guess because on a circuit, even if it's a known circuit, we get 8-10 turns maximum. You tend to, even if it's totally
on
new to you.
On the circuit once they had bale chicanes.
Yeah.
And they can every stage they'll move the bales and to change it.
Yeah.
So where we might see the same circuit lap after lap after lap, they'll see it for 3 laps.
Yeah.
And then the next time they go around, it'll be completely different.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. If it's totally new to you all the time, then of course with notes you would drive faster. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can't get trouble sick if you want to read the notes. Andrew can't do the passenger.
Really
gets trouble sick.
Yeah, I think that would be with me. So I'm either driving, you giving the notes, or you drive with.
I'll have to give the notes.
Yeah.
They did do one at what's the drag strip called in York?
The only one I know is Santa Paul.
No.
In Europe, I know
Melbourne Raceway.
Yeah, they do a rally at Melbourne.
What? The drag strip?
It's all the road,
obviously.
all the road round it.
Yeah.
You go down the drag strip.
Well, it's not there.
Really?
Yeah, it's
not
not
there.
there road, so
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
there's roads all over the place. They did one there during COVID, where only the driver was allowed in the car.
Oh, that's interesting.
That was the only time I've seen it.
I remember that silly rule that because of COVID you're not allowed to have another person with you in the car, and you're like, well, it's
We've all travelled together.
we we go to the event together in the same car. We're like we're practically a family member and stuff, and you're not allowed. Yeah,
What a daft time to be alive.
oh yeah, I remember you remember when at truck days you had to completely clean and disinfect your car if you're swapping drivers. And you argue, well, we drove this car together.
Yeah, here.
Here, and we're fine. It's like, why? It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like rules are made by people who seem to know what they're implementing, but when they implement it, people totally tend to sort of twist them and change them to whatever they like. And
the Crown rules never made sense. So there's a shop in the corner I used to go to every single morning, and just as COVID started, they basically forced the entire shop as a one-way, and that was literally up and down every single aisle. And Soslaw, I went there to get a couple of drinks every morning. And it's on the last aisle on the way out, so I literally had to walk all the way through, up and down every single aisle. And then I said to them, it just seems daft. I was like, why is it made out like this? Oh, to stop infection and whatever, COVID. But I was like, normally when I come in, go left straight to the aisle of what I'm going and come back out. I was like, now you're forcing me to go up every single aisle. 95% of the shop that I don't even want to look at, you forced me to go around there. Whereas, then I went in the next day and they changed it back to free flowing.
Put a plastic screen in front of the till, then handle every single thing that you've picked up goes through that hand.
Definitely. What stupid time to live.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what do you drive day to day, as in daily?
Audi A6 2 litre diesel. My wife's ex-car. She decided she needed a newer, more reliable car, so I got the old car.
I bet it's still reliable.
Yeah, more reliable than new car.
What car did you get?
An A4. A newer A4.
Oh, so you're really into your Audis?
No.
No, it's gonna.
I've been in the motor trade so long. I don't like French cars and I don't like German cars.
Okay, so you don't like French cars, you don't like German cars. Yeah, Daily is a German, and your race car is a French car.
I've got two Audis and two Renaults.
And you absolutely hate Renaults.
Yeah, I worked in a Renault main dealer for 13 plus years. So I just don't like working. That's all it is. But it's when you've done that sort of thing, you don't want to work on your own car full stop. But then you also don't want to pay someone else to do it.
No.
It's like a catch 22.
Coming back to this build or bought, it's one of those things. It's if I had the unlimited amount of money, there's so many things that admittedly I'd love to just delegate to somebody and be like, you know what, do it. I'll pay you, and you just do that and trouble free, because you don't want to. A lot of things you just don't want to do. It's I enjoy solving problems. I enjoy creating something new, like coming up with these crazy ideas and then just sort of doing it, rather than the maintenance. That's a boring bit. Whenever you're fixing something that's broke, that's the boring bit. Certain things, like for example, prepping for paint. Oh my god, I hate this sanding and stuff. I don't know how human can do it. I mean, that's probably why he's so bloody grumpy all the time. Yeah. He ends up doing it all the time. So those certain things you always want to just delegate, but. Yeah, it's obviously cheaper to do it yourself. So.
When the Clio broke down at Brands Hatch on the first time down at Brands Hatch, I did 3 laps, the clutch dive slipped.
Oh yeah, I remember. It felt so bad. Yeah.
I pulled it in the garage and everyone's like, right, we're getting the gearbox out, we can get a new clutch and do this and we can have you back out tomorrow. I'm like, no. I was like, I'm not pulling it apart because the standard Mark III is a lot more difficult to get the gearbox out of than a Mark II.
And I think that was a good choice, wasn't it? Because there was something fundamentally wrong with it.
Yeah, the crank seal had gone.
Yeah. So the clutch would not.
It meant taking it back out.
I'd about to take it apart, put it back together, to then take it apart again when I got home.
Yeah. Okay.
to put it back together again.
Was that double header weekend? That so
Yeah.
just a long way to go just for a day.
Well, it was. I mean, it's amazing that you actually stayed and you helped around and but just
so like when you're so close to home, like at Cadwell last year when the gearbox went on the day one in the micro.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, Cadwell is 20 minutes.
No, yeah, literally, you went, you came back, and then at 12 o'clock at night, we were putting the gearbox back in, so it was done the same night.
It wasn't totally bad that the car was broke when it was, because it was 35 degrees or something that weekend. The aircon still worked. So when it was getting too hot, fired up, cooled down a bit, came back out and helped the lads. So there was quite a few breakdowns that weekend, so it wasn't, like I said, I filled my time.
Was it, hold on, was it?
That was where Taylor's gearbox went.
Was it when mine exploded as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When I had oil pressure issues.
Yeah, I can't contribute mine to the heat. It just, okay. Yeah, it was that weekend.
But if the clutch hadn't gone, it would have cost me probably more than the clutch gone, because I would have used a set of tyres, brakes, fuel, the 2 days. So it kind of worked out cheap with braking.
And then always, you must remember, there could have been, I mean, again, touch wood, something worse could have happened.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those, like, something out there is always, it's one of those. Yeah, it was just a shame, like 7 hours for you to get to Brands Hatch, and you've done 3 laps.
We couldn't get out the paddock on the Sunday until after everyone else, after the racing.
Oh yeah, because obviously because the trailer is parked at Brighton. Yeah. Well, Brands Hatch for you, then it's tight for a bit.
I enjoyed it the next time we were there, though.
Most memorable moment of last season. But again, would that be the clutch going?
That's probably the Clyde going.
No, not really. That was kind of a anticlimax. It wasn't the most memorable bit. The most memorable bit was sideways through the S's after the mountain at Cadwell.
Alright.
Because I was half on the grass looking at the Armco.
Oh, I've seen the Iron Core up and close.
Oh, through Horse Bend?
Yeah, not through
the forest section?
Yeah.
The Hill Bend.
I've seen that Iron Core.
Same place he put my car onto the barrier.
No, wasn't that? I went backwards into the start straight as well at Cadwell. So yeah, Cadwell's probably the one where I had the most. Say fun. It wasn't fun, but it was. I didn't hit anything, so it was fun.
Sorry, I'm reading the list. What's your favourite? Well, it's quite difficult because your car's quite standard. So, like, do you have a favourite modification you've done?
The diff.
Do you like diff in it?
It's got diff. Just a Quafe DB in it. That's probably the.
It changes the car completely, doesn't it? The diff. You put a diff in any car, and it will completely transform the way the car drives. Absolutely, 100%. They are expensive, so it's not the cheapest model.
Yeah,
and it's quite an intrusive modification. It's not a bolt-on. Even though it is a bolt-on, it's take everything apart on, and then the bolt-on.
That's where being in with a rally crew comes in handy, because
you can do it in half an hour.
Well, no, on a rally car, yeah, not my car, but that was Andrew spending my money again. He was like, "Oh, so-and-so's got this diff." Like, I don't really need a diff. Yeah, but it's the right price. Second hand.
I think any car, a diff is like, I'd class that as an essential modification for a track car.
Unless it came with a sort of trick, sort of internal whatever. Maybe not even electronic. Like, for example, the RF Sport. Because it's a quattro and it's whatever, it's sort of like their high performance, whatever. It has a brilliant sort of already semi-locking something diffs inside. It needs absolutely no need for changing. It just, the way it sort of, the traction works on it, it just gives you perfect amount of sleep. I think it's obviously because it's Audi, I think it has this ATB, so it's kind of, so it's a limited sleep. So certain cars, but like a French, the Clio, oh my god, the open diff is just atrocious. It's just like, it's undrivable.
The suspension on the car cost £400 more than the car.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
So let's sit there for game change modification. Top 3 essential modifications for any track / time attack car. Based off your experience.
There wasn't really anything modded for man or added. I mean, I put the fire extinguisher in, that's safety.
Well, we discount safety because safety is just...
that's safety. But obviously from doing the and seeing what, like, I think, was it the year before when the car crashed at Brandhatch?
Oh, Rob Boston in the...
That luckily had a cage in it.
Yeah.
It's always in the back of your head. So I would say a cage. I haven't used mine with the cage in, but it was always put that in and then...
Definitely.
It's like one extra layer of...
So would you say not having the cage... I think so. I think a bit of a bit more reserved. Because in the back of your head, you're like, crashing.
Well, we were saying if you're not trailering your car to the event, if you're driving it on the road, then you always...
I wouldn't say I wasn't pushing. I was pushing probably harder than I should have. But you get caught up in the...
Caught up in the moment, yeah.
Trying to beat that time every session. But yeah, the cage was always in the back of my mind that it needed one. And probably make the car lighter. It's a free modification that makes a lot of difference.
Well, it's
to a point.
It's free to a point when you run out of 3 things to take off the car, and then when you venture into composite materials, as the name of this podcast may suggest, that's where it gets a little bit expensive.
You can remove a big chunk of weight. Just out of stuff that's in the car. I mean,
100%.
I haven't told you.
But you refuse to.
I won't take the aircon out. I won't take the aircon out.
I mean, if it works for you, if it works for you, it works for you.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Love aircon someday, especially around that year, last year.
You don't get out the car a sweaty mess.
No, that's true. Obviously, you got that aircon, boss aircon, man. You got your...
That's the thing. Maybe I'm not complaining as much because I've always had those ducts that go through the seat and into my helmet. So whenever I'm staging, you put it on, and it's actually quite a bit of trim. And I usually just open up the suit a little bit, so actually the air gets in, and I don't feel as boiling. So maybe that's the reason why I'm like, you know what, it's fine without the aircon, because I actually have my MacGyver. No,
just airflow, isn't it?
No, not MacGyver. Redneck.
Redneck MacGyver.
Yeah, redneck.
I'm gonna put them in the same context. Favorite track?
Ooh, go on.
It's not Cadwell, get out.
Cadwell's a good track.
Just around the corner from you.
Yeah. Nearly drove past it on the way here. I would say Alton Park is a good one.
Yeah.
I like Alton Park.
I do like Alton Park.
But it was wet there, that might be why I liked it so much. Low powered car.
Oh, I enjoyed mine in the high powered car. I was loving it.
But
I really enjoyed Alton Park in the wet. A right old giggle. Really did.
I think when it's a little bit slippy, it's more fun.
Yes, I'd agree.
I keep changing my mind. I don't know. If you ask me today, I'll probably tell you a different one from last time. I don't know why.
But it's always Cadwell for me because again it's 20 minutes.
Yeah, right now, currently, I'm thinking Brands Hatch is my favorite one.
I think
which is weird. I don't know why. It's just, I said it before. It just feels like my car is so set up for Brands Hatch. It's just so brilliant because it's everything, like the gearing, the way it flows through the corner. It just feels really, really at home at Brands Hatch.
Would you like to do the full circuit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Never done it. It's just way too expensive. The £500 is just unjustifiable, and unfortunately, Time Attack doesn't do it on the GP circuit. So unless I did something like Thunder Salutes, wink, wink. I don't know if you guys are watching. You know who you are. I'm pretty sure that this is their flagship event, Brands Hatch GP, because I think it's a double-header 2 days. They do Indy and then the GP, and I think it's pre-booked already fully, so you can't even do that. But yeah, I'd love to do a full Brands Hatch circuit. If it happens, it happens. If not, I'll probably change my mind about.
I mean, it will never happen as part of a time attack event.
Oh no, 100%. I mean,
is Angle.
We'll probably get live streaming before we'll get Brands Hatch GP.
Is Anglesey this year going to be two different?
Yes. As far as we know, it's 2 different circuits. Yeah, I think 3 years before when they did it, it was a single day event, and they did one layout before lunch, I think.
Yeah, they did one without the second big screen.
But
coastal circuit.
Yeah, but this time it's on the 20 and 21st of April.
That's good though. It's like I said, it's a double header and you get a different layout. I mean, the layouts don't really differ that much. It's just adding
one more to it.
There's a bit more to it, but
it's a different layout.
No, it's different.
You rewire your brain. You end up driving it a bit differently.
There's not many circuits in the UK give you that option to have 2 different layouts.
Well, I wish Donington didn't give you that choice.
Yeah. Although the back end of Donington's not really.
Well, the GP. Yeah, it's horrible. It's nobody. I mean, everyone I know, nobody likes the GP track. They only do it because, well, it's available and but nobody likes that little.
I don't understand that part of it.
The only good thing about it is that chicane. That thing is brilliant because it's faster for some reason to go left than to go right.
I've been through the gravel on that chicane.
Yeah, so that's the only one. But yeah.
So all year you positioned 2nd and 3rd?
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd I came away with through breakdowns of people above me.
So we touch on this with every single one because when we speak to people about entering time attack, they're seemingly put off that the car's not perfect, and they're almost put off because they're not going to win basically. So the question is like when you don't come first or you don't win, does that make you feel? What's the word I'm looking for? How does that make you feel when like you're trying your hardest and you've not come first?
For a first season, I mean, when I did the 2 single round entries, I was fastest single round entry in Clubman, but the entry was different.
Yeah.
Then, and this year I wasn't going into it with the intention of being, because I didn't know what the entry was going to be like. So I wasn't really bothered about getting a trophy. It was nice, but
not essential.
It wasn't essential. I put it as, if I didn't enter time attack, I could probably do 5 or 6 track days and spend the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit less track time, but it's structured. You know where you're at. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of the cheapest forms of competitive motorsport you can do on circuits, without question. But again, like I say, when we speak to people about doing time attack, we spend years building this perfect car, and then I always find the best way to do it is get the car running, stop and drive, and chuck it in, and then give the car what it needs for the season. So many people are just put off by the fact that they're not going to build a competitive winning car, and honestly, it's not all about winning. I suppose it's just the taking part.
Ever since I've had the crack, I know it's a bit of a different take on things, but it's been like, go out and do it.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow's not guaranteed.
No, I believe in that every day.
You know what grinds my gears? When people build a car for 2-3 years.
And never use it.
No, not only they never use it, they never finish it. Yeah. They come really close where it looks like, that would be a ride, and then they break it for parts.
Yeah.
Oh, that I can't stand it. I can't. Every time I see it, there's so many posts on Facebook, and I'm like, I don't know why. It's just, of course, it's your personal choice, and I'm sure some people would have a really good reasoning. I don't know. Life gets in the way. I don't know, family commitments, this and that. Anything can happen. So to me, people stop. But I know for a matter of fact that a lot of those people, they just get bored, and they just like whatever. So
you find if you find in the case like that is that people are just building the cars for the Instagram likes.
Yeah.
And then when they're I see it all the time.
I've never had that pot of money to be able to just go and build something. I've always had to use that car. So if I'm using it on the road, I can use it on track.
Right.
And then if something breaks, then I'll make it better. If it doesn't break, keep using it, keep on fun. I sold a E36 328. I'd ran it for 2 years, stripped out, had 2 bucket seats and a dashboard, and one lad to know, I want to go drifting. I was like, well, there you go, there's a cheap car, weld the diffel, go drifting. You won't mind if you smash it up because it's a tatty looking D36. Spent 2 years pulling it apart, doing all sorts to it. Spent a fortune on it, sold it 300 quid unfinished. Never did one drifter.
No. Honestly, we see it daily, especially with like customers who will be on at me for parts, and then you see like 2 years later they're desperate for it, but it's never they've never turned the key on the car, and it's just it's a bit frustrating sometimes. Free car dream garage.
Well, definitely no French or German cars.
No, it's worse.
It's worse.
I'd like a Lancia Delta in the Gravity.
Really?
Hallelujah. I love Lancia so much so that some of my arches on the Clio actually
They are inspired by that.
Inspired the Lancia.
Andy's got a nice project for you. Nice Lancia Delta.
I thought it was Citroen C1 inspired.
What?
I thought it was Citroen C1 inspired.
That's what those hands made it look like. But believe me, you've seen the pictures. You've seen the red I've sent. Yeah. It's literally was just like, this is how I wanted to look. But
so that would be number one.
They're great cars.
I'd have to go back to my roots and say an RS 500 was one. And third car. Getting on now, so it'd have to be somewhat comfortable like a Bentley.
Okay.
Like Continental GT.
Yeah.
I hear they are sublime to just drive. They're just such a cruisers. They're not particularly fast but they are fast. I mean, they're not fast not like a Koenigsegg or Ferrari fast, but they are just extremely luxurious on the inside. Yeah. You know what? I think we need to sort of rephrase that question slightly because it opens up to so many. Because now I'm thinking about it, and I've seen this video the other day where people were driving all those super rich people, like the road trips, and the tag of the video was 50 million car convoy, something like that. And they had all these sort of Koenigsegg, CCS, whatever, but then they had the Ferrari F50, F40, and I was like, I would love to have myself an F40. There was the Agera something, and I was like, or Genko, something like that. It was a Bayron, but I was like, yeah, whatever. So it's one of those like dream car garages. Like obviously, if you were to pick 3 cars, obviously one of them would be your sort of daily, your comfortable something, and then one would be
maybe we could rephrase that for later.
Set a budget.
No. You could have the 3 car garage, track car, daily, weekend car.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that'll make more sense.
Well, I think I filled that role.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because otherwise,
track car, 3 cars, one for daily, one for track, one for a Sunday spirit.
Yeah. One for weekend, daily, sport car as a track race car. Yeah.
Okay. We'll do that with
yeah. That makes more sense because otherwise, it's a bit like
you just end up throwing.
Yeah.
Just what are the most expensive cars I could buy?
Exactly. Because quite recently, I can't say dreaming about it, but when your wife, not just mine, when your wife tells you sort of almost pre-approves a new car purchase, trade-in or whatever for a particular model.
Is that before or after you tell her how much it actually costs?
You mean you ask her?
No, we were just talking about the RS4, and if like, well, if I want to sell, because for years now she's like, oh, don't never sell it, it's your baby, we love that car. V8, they don't make them like that anymore. Full drive, manual, blah. And I was like, if I want to replace it, I said Godzilla, the R35 Skyline. I love that. They've been done to bits. I know, everyone has them, and the likes of Rich will push the ridiculous horsepower out of them, but I love the look of the one, and it's an old car and all that, but it's one car you kind of like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I could see us replacing RS4 for one of those. So it's one of those like, I don't know, but recently I have been thinking, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Where are we? Favourite / most memorable time attack car that pops into your head?
And before he answers that question, I want to sort of announce something a little bit there. I was going to do it right at the end for you guys, but the chances are only 20% of you reach this stage anyways, and I don't want to reach only 5%. I've decided, we decided, every episode we're going to announce previous winners. I probably said it wrong. Anyways, if you leave a comment under this video, asking us a question or whatever, any comment, we will pick a winner from all the comments, and that guy will get a goodie bag from me and his, whatever we have sort of laying around. It could be a hat,
scrap steel.
Scrap steel. No, it will be something sort of semi-new. Could be stickers, air fresheners, baseball cap, t-shirt, whatever, anything, key rings, anything. So we'll get a little goodie bag. So you get things for free, and we get the comments that really help us show YouTube that you actually guys watching it and there is interaction. So go down into the comment section and tell us something, anything.
Tell us some stuff.
Yeah, even if you say
Q&A.
Yeah, even if you say SYM or question. I'm telling you a question now. Can you put a list of those 3 cars? One daily.
Yeah.
One for weekends and one for truck, please. Winner announced next week. I haven't done the list of winners from previous one. You know what? This is the first one. So the next episode we will announce a winner from this one. And now back to Blacky answering the question of. I gave you 5 minutes to think about it. It's a difficult question.
Favourite car on the time attack paddock this year?
This year.
You can't pick Spicy Micro or the
No.
shock. No.
I mean, the micro probably gives PTSD.
Yeah, probably. Same as mine.
I think the Andy Frost, is it?
And Forest.
With the Westfield.
With the Westfield.
Yeah, good choice.
That thing is incredible, isn't it?
That's. I mean, his last car as well was mental. So put that into that.
What I like about Andy Forest, he is a proper builder.
Yeah.
All of his stuff is literally built in a shed. I mean, yes, to a certain sort of extent. Now, with his experience and stuff, it's all professional, and he uses other shops, tuning and this and that, and it gets manufactured, whatever. But it's him designing. He's proper built, not bought. He spends time.
Just waking up one morning and think, you know what, I'm going to put.
Well, he's legendary. I mean, he's been doing it for 30, 40 years. I mean, everyone knows Andy Forrest, and he's really nice, down-to-earth guy. I met him quite a few times at 10 of the best events before even time and stuff, and we had quite a few chats. And it's that car is quite something, isn't it?
I never really got a chance to have a look around it, because you never get the time to just wander around. And
it's an impressive feat of engineering to sandwich a twin turbo V8 into a Westfield.
Have you noticed how simple everything looks?
Yes.
It doesn't look extremely over-engineered. It just looks like it's how it's meant to be. It's almost like it looks like it's OEM, like it would have come out from the factory. Yeah. But it's not overly crazily sort of this billet that, this kind of. He does sort of it's a weird mixture of this kind of like it just done simply but properly. You look at it and you're like, that makes sense. You don't even raise like, oh, why is it done this way? But
and then it goes down the straight and you see it.
Well, it's definitely.
If you see it, because it's.
I mean, he was one like to go to World Time Attack quite a few times. Yeah, me and Giz are planning to do that. You know,
eventually.
Your comments under this video will help us earn enough.
That YouTube AdSense revenue.
Yeah.
What is one thing you would change about Time Attack?
It'd be the difficult one, but it'd be the classes.
Classes. Okay.
Classes.
Yeah, the class structure does need looking at, but there's no real fair.
It's a difficult one because you might only get one car that fits that class.
Yeah.
So it's everything's a bit of a compromise.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, I mean, yeah, we talked about it before with the previous guys, and it's one of those things. It's you can wish for one thing, but at the end of the day, it still kind of works. It's open for so many different cars, and literally, we keep saying it. Any car can enter Time Attack and find a class for it. So by trying to restructure all of this,
I wouldn't want.
100% no. 100% no. If anything, I said it before, I would want to see less classes. So we don't have 20 classes, whatever, like with minimal differences. Just combine a few together. But then again, you're trying to make it more competitive for the sort of slow classes.
Well, they should go back to how it used to be. Like Pocket Rocket used to be maximum 1.6 litre. And then now the engine rule's the same as every other class.
Yeah.
And with no real. I mean, what distinguishes a Pocket Rocket from
a Club 2
drive?
I don't understand.
That I could.
Well, technically, the one definition that would actually define Pocket Rocket versus a Club 2 drive is the body type. It's a Class B body type, which is by definition small hatchbacks.
Yeah.
And that's the only defining thing between because by that you won't be able to you'd be able to enter. Well, no, you wouldn't actually. You'd be able to enter a Corsa VXR into Pocket Rocket.
Yeah.
But then if you wanted to, let's say for example like an Astra Coupe Turbo.
Corsa VXR's 2 litre turbo, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you could.
Jimmy Broadbent was in Pocket Rocket, wasn't he?
In MX-5.
And that's an MX-5. That's definitely not a hot hatch. Just because Pocket Rocket was always a
to me that'd be what, a sports coupe?
Yeah.
Sports, yeah. So
you know what? Actually, they changed the Thunders, Thunder Saloons. I don't know if he's not going to be watching it. Yeah, Jimmy's going to do Thunder Saloons. I mean, who are we kidding? 200 watchers maybe, and part of it is us. They changed the class structure. So before,
the thing doesn't get me about Thunder Saloons. It's Prawn the Vaughan. Or Vaughan the Prawn.
Hatchback.
Right, hatchback.
And
Well, the definition of the body type's in the fucking name of the series.
I know,
but saloons, and it's in a hatchback. That's the one thing that I just don't get about it.
If you'd have done it in an A4 instead of an A3.
No, but it's a front-wheel drive. Anyways, now they changed it, so now it's open to sports cars, basically front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. So MX-5, and that's why Jimmy is going with Minty into Thunder Saloons. And you can have other cars racing it. So they restructured their classes. So maybe we'll see. Maybe 2025 when new regulations that we know are gonna come into force, like mandatory.
But at the minute, the new regulations, all we know is changing is mandatory roll cage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Bless you. Something right. Well, we'll see. I mean, we didn't even get into.
Oh, come in.
Why?
Yes, roll cage is.
Yeah, we'll see. If they change whatever changes they make, I'm sure we'll find out a week in advance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why they made us wait that long for the regulations this year when bugger all's changed.
Yeah, I know.
Apart from the tyres. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Why would they make roll cage just mandatory? Kind of thing. It makes the barrier for entry higher. You can't just bring whatever.
Yeah, that's my point. You know, so by forcing roll cages. But saying that, I really wouldn't want to be doing. I know it's not track day is a bit different because you can reserve yourself and you can come off at your leisure. With time attack, you are kind of forced to make most of your 15/20 minute session because that's what you're paying for at the end of the day. But at the same time, because of that pressure, you are sort of pushing that a bit harder than you probably would do on the track day.
Definitely.
And yeah, and obviously with adding expense, but I don't think is that many cars on the paddock this year which haven't got a roll cage. Obviously yours is one.
Mine hasn't. Some had half cages.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they were FIA approved half cages or they were just half cages, but it's.
Well, they wouldn't approve for half cage anyway. It has to be minimum of 6 points is in the regs. But yeah, as I said, next year when the forcing cages. But that's it. If there's only 2 or 3 people, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one.
But then it would fall to Clubman because it's a road car.
Yeah.
You can rock up in your road car.
I think
it's.
I think a lot has to do with licensing and the way because obviously they as organizers they need to apply for a permit, a racing whatever permit,
And insurance.
Exactly, and that permit sort of dictates what rules and what regulations they kind of run under. Because obviously sprint events is different from circuit racing and all that stuff. So maybe that has something to do with obviously what MSA sort of dictates. So if they were to allow Clubman to sort of run without the cage, for example, then the whole event would need to be classed as a sprint event, for example, even though I think he's classed as sprint event.
Yeah,
anyways, it could be something.
They have a weird regulation which allows them to run the way they do.
Yeah, so it could be something that is changing there internally. That's why there's like it would be impossible to run this and this sort of together on the same day.
I mean, if there was that worried after Rob Boston's crash in the Fuge, it'd have been, that crash is quite serious enough to go right. Stop from now on, roll cage or you don't and they didn't do that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I know there's some more. Some that did single round entry in Clubman last year, the full season this year. I'm not sure if they've got cages, but it's like if you've got a new car and you want to enter, are you going to spend the money on a cage?
most likely not.
No, because you're going to rip the interior of a new car out. Some people can't afford to do
Well, I
it.
suppose you could also say if you were to buy a slightly newer car, let's say 2000 onwards, whatever performance stuff is there out now, and imagine the structure of the car is a lot safer than, let's say, my tin steel.
Well, we know what micros look like.
But like, I really wouldn't want to be doing the sort of speed I'm planning to do in my new build without a roll cage. Just because, I know from experience, unfortunately the Red Civic had a minor crash by the Civic had quite a minor crash by all means, and then it's completely written off the car because it's old.
Twisted.
Because the chassis is that old before they started like triple layering skins and.
But that's what made it fast to play.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a good car.
Yeah.
Really was a good car. Can't wait to get the old purple.
It's not even cold yet. I looked at it. It's around the corner. Still there. The Civic.
Civic's still there,
Yeah. It will be resurrected.
Well, once we get rid of some of these fucking shitties out of the workshop, we'll probably have to start to reshell that one. Because I would like to have that one at Cadwell with us this year. Find a driver for it. Yeah?
Okay.
We're going to drive the ship.
Exactly. I think we have our driver.
Well, I won't pay for it. You crash it, you can find your shell. I mean, I was quite fortunate that the guy who did crash it did get me a shell, so that's all I can ask for. I think that's about it, really. Unless you've got anything to add. Obviously, we need to thank Jacob for being number one crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sitting in the background.
Jacob is like his son. He's always there, always with a bit of banter.
Yeah, pretty good. What about any sponsors, friends, pit crew to say thanks to?
It's your time to shine.
Yeah, well, I've got to say, without Michelle, my wife, I wouldn't have done it.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
So she puts up with all that.
Don't they all?
Richie and Alistair and David from Mickle Service Station for giving me the space to work on the car and the transport to get to and from events. And my work, HP Freightways, for sponsoring me last year.
Yeah, good.
Just kept it cheap and fun. Small section of people. Yeah, that's about it.
Stuff.
I'd say thank you for Jacob for coming and supporting me, but he sat on his phone most of the time.
Has no choice.
Yes, it's very most of the time.
He gets a free weekend away.
He only comes out with Shell in the afternoon when we all start getting a bit, in the evening we start getting a bit rowdy. Bless him. Yeah, I think that's it for episode 4.
Well, technically this should be 5 because the number 4 is not. Well, chances are when you see this, number 4 is out, which is a PRI special. It's not even.
It's not PRI special. It's just you chatting bollocks for 40 minutes.
Me chatting bollocks. It's us chatting bollocks. It's actually much longer than that. I've started editing. It's gonna be. It's a good one. If you haven't seen it, go back and see it. It's weird to say it. It's not even all there yet, and I'm telling you now to go and see it.
Long story short, we're hopefully going to be starting bashing out some more episodes at a frequent rate.
Yeah.
We just had to get Christmas out of the way, New Year out of the way. You went away for a fair while, and obviously we've had a new mezzanine floor put in the workshop to make a bit more of a dedicated space for doing this. So now we've got all that sorted, we can hopefully start to pile in.
Yeah, I don't know if whoever is watching this now, for example, if you're into time attack, if you're from our paddock, if you know us already, if you're completely new and you are into racing, don't be discouraged by the name of the podcast, Time Attack Cars. We are planning to talk to interesting people. If you are interested, if you have a story to tell, if you have a race car or any experience with race car racing, truck days or whatever, in future we will want to speak with you. So we might sort of do 10 episodes dedicated to time attack cars from our paddock, wherever we can sort of gather the most interesting people. And then in future, we will be happy to talk to you if you are interested. So drop us a message, find us.
Long story short, if you want to come to the podcast,
let us know. Let us know. It's not exclusive to time attack cars.
And we aim to do every other Saturday or every third Saturday, 2 or 3 people in one day. So we get in touch.
Let's say once a month, 3 people we can accommodate
on
a single day, do the filming, and you tell your story, promote your sponsors, promote yourself, your YouTube channel, wink wink.
Yeah, I need to buy a sign.
Yes, I know, I send you a link, because look how mine looks. Amazing, isn't it? Find it on Amazon, affiliate link, down the bottom.
See you in the next episode.
Thank you very much, guys, for watching.
Bye.
Peace.
Love you, bye.